What's up, Collider TV Talk fans? Josh Macuga here with the rain-soaked Thadd Williams.
Oh, God. It's wet outside.
It is really crazy.
And we don't understand how to do this in Los Angeles.
No idea. I've lived here 11 years, 12 years. And
Same.
I have never seen this many rain days in a row.
It's
like I've
very
seen
wet.
rain come down hard here before.
You know what it looks like when it gets wet.
I grew up in Pittsburgh where it rains just like Seattle. People don't realize that the weather in Pittsburgh is terrible. Like, it is horrendous.
You keep selling Pittsburgh as this utopia, but now you're telling me that it's wet all the time. Well, I'm not a fan of that.
It's not a great weather city. Everything else about Pittsburgh, perfect.
I mean, the advantage of the wetness, it does make everything look lush and green.
Correct. When we were driving across the state of Pennsylvania, that's all Amanda kept saying was, "It's so green here." I was like, yeah, because it's not an arid desert driving across California.
They haven't been in a 10-year drought.
Yeah. Making a rain-soaked LA show is always hysterical to me because this happens like once every 15 years that something like rain 4 days in a row happens.
Yeah,
so.
I actually there's something later in the rundown. Remind me, production is actually getting screwed up because of the rain.
Love it. Love it.
Because not only are Angelinos not built for rain, none of our sets and none of our buildings are built for rain. There are leaks everywhere in this office. I mean, I don't.
The streets are exploding.
If we had like a wind gust, like everything falls apart.
It's legitimately the Three Pigs. It's the wolf. Like, I blow your house down. That is Los Angeles. But we're talking TV here today. A big week of television for sure. There are some awesome stories this week. Really fun stuff. Before we get into it, you can follow me on Twitter at Josh Macuga. You can follow Thadd at Thadd Williams. You can subscribe to the channel here if you're listening and you're subscribed to the podcast feed. Amazing. If you're listening and you're not, subscribe, rate, like, tell somebody. The video version of this is on the Collider podcast channel, so subscribe to that. Share it. Do whatever you want. Comment. Hashtag at Collider TV Talk. We are here for you guys, all you TV fans out there.
Also, if you want to listen to our show, you can now find our show on Spotify and on Stitcher if you're using that for your podcast.
Boom.
So basically, anywhere you would get your podcasts, you can now get Collider TV Talk.
That tweet last week made me very happy. Well done.
Spent a couple hours and figured out how to do it.
Well done.
And now it's done.
There you go. Let's start it off hot. So we got this Game of Thrones trailer. Okay.
I don't as clue me in here because as someone that does not watch the show.
Yeah.
That was not footage, like that wasn't a scene.
No.
From that was just a stylized teaser kind of thing.
Stylized teaser of like a foreshadowing of what is to come, I guess.
Are those do they build those statues when heroes die?
Correct.
Yeah.
Like when,
that was kind of what I thought.
When Starks die, they get statues in the crypt. Right, so they're buried down there, or I mean, I don't know if Ned Stark's body made it all the way back to Winterfell. That might be a Ken Knapsack question. Here comes the internet comments and how I lose my job.
Yeah.
But
what about Tony Stark?
Tony Stark, he is the actual barber in Winterfell. Right? He only does very sharp goatees.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah. So yeah, if you die, and those are the three remaining Stark children. There's Brandon Stark, but he's now like the three-eyed raven, so he really isn't part of the fight, I guess. Not really. It's very confusing. But when you die as a Stark or anybody that's like a person of Winterfell, you get a statue in there. Basically,
so those characters were walking through, and then they landed on their own statues. They're like, "What the hell's this?" And then everything went winter.
Correct.
Yeah, it looked very stylized. Like very quickly, I was like, "Oh, this is not like a first look of episode 1.
No.
This is a stylized promo."
And as is such with anything Game of Thrones, the internet kind of exploded in a sense of. Poor Dennis Zen tweeted, "Hey man," or it was like, I haven't watched the Game of Thrones teaser. I'm waiting to do a trailer reaction tomorrow. The suspense is killing me, and I just tweeted at him, "Nothing happens," because I needed him to be like, "Just go watch it, man. Nothing happens in this at all."
It's not footage. It's
It's just walking with torches.
Right. But we did get a release date.
We got April 14th, which is also the Sunday of the Masters. So I'll be watching TV all day, watching golf.
That's Masters weekend?
That's Masters weekend. So we'll be watching golf all weekend and then watching golf all day. And usually the Masters ends around 5, like 4:30 on the West Coast.
Yeah.
get a quick dinner, go right into Game of Thrones. It's going to be an amazing day.
That's a busy television day for you.
That may be outside. Don't tell my wife this. Outside of my wedding weekend, that might be the most anticipated weekend I've had in my life.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Who is poised to win the Masters this year?
Well, Tiger Woods, if he can. I mean, he won the last tournament of this year, this past season. So if Tiger Woods is healthy and he's playing good golf, and if Tiger Woods wins the Masters, it may outtrend Game of Thrones. It's a crazy thought, but it could happen.
It could happen. It could happen. What if there was a crossover and the Starks got green jackets and Tiger Woods got a statue?
Tiger Woods has plenty of statues, I think, at least outside of his large home. But yeah, that's our Game of Thrones news. Again, we haven't seen any kind of trailer outside of that like HBO first look,
right? Where we saw a little footage.
My queen Winterfell is yours, right? But that's it. This is my favorite news of the week.
Oh,
this next story.
Surprised. I had no idea this was happening. Surprised the hell out of me.
I had just watched Vice over the weekend.
Oh, I still haven't seen it. That's my FOMO voice.
Yes.
I still haven't seen it.
I mean, there are here. I'm not going to give you my opinion.
I like Adam McKay's movies. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
I know it's a somewhat divisive film, and that's fine.
Yeah. Very heavy-handed in the left, and I'm not saying I'm some diehard Republican or anything like that. I just felt like there were a lot of points where I was like, all right. Anyway. I get it. But Steve Carell in that movie is the overlooked genius performance of that movie.
He's Rumsfeld, right?
Yes. Christian Bale, great. Amy Adams, great. Sam Rockwell is good. But Steve Carell, as is such, and I feel bad because I feel like this year he was in 3 movies that when they were being produced, everybody was like, this is going to have Oscar buzz, right? It's sort of like that... what's that Christopher Guest movie where they all do that movie that's supposed to be like Home for Purim, but then it turns into some Thanksgiving movie and they all think they're going to get nominated for Oscars? Oh. It was like his most recent one. Was it like For Your Consideration? I think that's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like Steve Carell had 3 movies this year where when they were shooting it, they were like, for your consideration, Steve Carell, this could be his Oscar year.
Yeah.
Beautiful Boy, Welcome to Marwin, and Vice.
And he got overlooked for all of them.
I mean, we still don't know if he's going to get nominated for anything in the Oscars, but I don't think he will.
I don't think he will.
And it's unfortunate because he's awesome.
Yeah.
But the news is that Steve Carell is coming back to TV to produce a show with the creators of The Office.
Yeah.
Called Space Force.
I friggin' love it. And he's going to star in it.
He's going to star in it.
It's not like they're just putting their name on some show that's going to happen. Like, this is a new workplace comedy.
Yes.
The description is, on June 18th, 2018, the federal government announced the creation of a 6th major division of the United States Armed Forces. The goal of the new branch is to defend satellites from attack and perform other space-related tasks or something. This is the story of the men and women who have to figure it out. So it's basically the team that were blindsided with this news. Hey, we're building a space force. Yeah. And then they're just sitting in their offices. They're like, how do we build a space force? Where is a space force?
So do we put fences around the satellites? Like, what's the deal? I in my mind, what I'm hoping is that they are like talking to astronauts in space. This isn't a space set show.
Oh, yeah. No. I think it's on Earth.
A government set, like, what does Space Force do, right?
Yeah.
That just gets me so excited.
I love the concept. It's really interesting because they announced this out of the blue. Mm-hmm. I then read something, and I couldn't find the link again, so I don't know if this is 100% confirmed, but I read where he was probably going to get $1 million an episode for this.
Okay, awesome.
Which, good for you, Steve.
Fantastic.
But it's also going to come out around the same time. He's doing that Apple morning show
with Rhys Witherspoon
and
right?
Jennifer Aniston.
Right.
This is not going to conflict at all.
Okay.
So he's going to be on 2 different platforms doing 2 different types of television projects.
Awesome.
After staying away from TV for a long time.
And staying away from comedy for a long time.
True.
You know what I mean? He was... The only really comedies that we were seeing from him was like Anchorman 2 was the most recent one.
Yeah. Right? Well, or Vice. Vice is a comedic film in a lot of ways. I mean, so I've been told.
Again, his performance in that. But this gets me super excited. Just the minds behind it. Do you think I guess here's the operative question. Do you think it'll be a talking head? Do you think it'll have like the floating head, or do you think it'll just be straight up television?
I genuinely don't know. I could. It's great.
We haven't seen a show like that. I mean, outside of Modern Family that's going on TV.
Modern Family being the major one. I could see them banding around that idea.
Okay. I
feel like they would have decided not to do that since they're so associated between The Office and Parks and Rec for doing that they might say like, let's not But at the same time, I could see Netflix saying,
Time tested.
we don't know how long we're going to have The Office now that NBC's got a streaming service coming soon. So let's just do this.
Right.
Let's make this happen.
Yeah.
So it could be one of those things where it's extremely familiar. Like you're just subbing paper for
Space Force.
space. And which is fine, and I'm totally okay with that. As I said to I think I said it to Cobster because he was really excited because he's a huge Office fan.
Yeah. As
like,
are most people.
I was like, that's awesome. The show's probably going to be just okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be fine.
Right.
Like, I don't think anyone's going to watch it and think this is the next Office.
Yeah.
It's one of those Netflix shows that's just going to be there. And I
You think?
I don't have high hopes for it.
Really?
Because it's just coming out of left field. I feel like this feels like a Netflix suits, like this feels like a decision that was made in one of their
Development meetings?
executive offices of like, we don't know how long The Office is going to be around.
Okay.
We need a replacement for The Office.
Okay.
And I think they're just trying to slot that in because they're like, hey, because if he's really getting like $1 million an episode, they're just throwing money at them. They're like, we need another Office quick. Make it happen.
And they're raising prices on Netflix. So.
Right. Well, yeah. And I was hearing this morning that they've estimated that they're losing $3 billion a year from people sharing their passwords.
See, they need to get rid of that.
Yeah, but you could argue at the beginning that it helped with the brand awareness.
Sure.
But I think they're going to lock it down to where they're
Your
going to
IP.
look at the IPs and like if it's they're not going to let you log in here and in Pittsburgh at the same time.
Right.
It's just not. They're not going to. They're going to stop that.
Yeah.
And for better or for worse, HBO hasn't really stopped it either. Everyone's always joked about the HBO Go passwords. I could see them stopping it soon.
Yeah.
But they haven't like locked it down yet.
And you know the vocal minority will revolt, and all the people that just really enjoy Netflix and don't mind spending like $9 a month.
Yeah, well, soon to be $13.99 a month. So that's one less latte.
Yeah, here, drink more water. It's free.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, and Disney streaming service is going to be like $15.99.
Yeah.
like they're not gonna give you a bargain price.
No, of course not.
because they don't have to.
Yeah, and I might be in the minority here on this one, but I don't see myself getting the Disney streaming service.
Well, I
I want
mean-
to see Mandalorian, but
Yeah, I at least year one, it doesn't sound like they're doing a lot of programming for you, and
Right.
and year one, their programming like they're doing the big blockbuster-y kind of projects,
Sure.
but I don't think they're going to have a volume to warrant a casual user to purchase it.
I know I
in
should
year
be.
one.
I know I should be the guy that's like, I'm going to jump on these shows right away to give my opinion. But these are the kind of shows that I'm going to wait until people I know and talk about are just like, you have to see it.
That's fair.
You have to see it
That's fair.
because like if Christian Harloff doesn't like The Mandalorian, I'm not watching The Mandalorian.
That's fair,
Right?
That's fair. No. That's,
All these Star Wars experts, if they're just like, it's amazing. You will love it. You will love it. Because
Right.
I don't like Loki. I'm not a huge.
You're a casual fan.
Correct.
And that's totally fine. And I really hate this whole like fight that the fandom's having where like casual fans don't exist. Like
Right.
if you don't know every piece of canon that's ever been published, you're not a real fan.
Right.
Like that line is BS to me.
I agree.
But I think that there are places for the casual fan. Something tells me that The Mandalorian and more so than the Marvel shows are going to appeal to the casual fans.
Okay.
More so than say like a Rebels or a Clone Wars.
Okay.
That's like if you're sitting down to watch it, you're really saying like I truly want to be invested in the Star Wars lore.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing is true with a lot of the Star Trek spinoffs that they've been announcing. Like they are going for the hardcore fans.
yeah.
And then there
Well,
might
those
be
are the people that buy it.
and then there might be one or two shows that they're going to try to appeal to everybody, like a new breed of fan.
Right.
But the ancillary stuff, and I think The Mandalorian counts as ancillary because it's not the movies.
Yeah.
I think everything that's not the movies is more so geared towards the hardcores.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is I watched Solo, right? And I
Yeah.
really liked Solo,
Right.
But I also knew most of those characters, I guess, from just like the movies. I just don't want to have to go through like The Mandalorian. Just like when I started watching Game of Thrones and I was getting destroyed by people who read the books. Like I don't want to have to live in a world where I
Right.
have to watch a Star Wars by having to have read books.
Yeah. Or a world where you won't be able to enjoy episode 9 until you've watched all 10 hours of The Mandalorian.
Correct.
Which I don't think they'll ever do. I don't think they'll ever do that. And I actually, in preparation because Discovery comes back tonight. I watched.
Oh, your boys.
I watched the 4 short films that they put out. This morning. They called them short treks. Get it? Because and they were kind of character studies, and there were 4 of them. I'd say 2 of them were really good. 2 of them were okay. But they're like 15-minute short films. They were geared towards the hardcore fans to get a little bit more excited about the characters, because what they've said is that later on, as season 2 progresses, you're going to revisit some of those themes, and if you've watched the short treks, they will kind of paint a more clear picture. For the hardcore fans. But the casual fans, they're never going to watch them. They're never going to see them. They won't know that they exist, and that's fine. The show will still work without that knowledge. But if you were really obsessed with finding out where Saru's Kelpian background came from, you can now learn in that. I know you're excited.
Whoa. Yeah.
Rainn Wilson was Harry Mudd. His was very funny.
Interesting. Got it. Well, Rainn Wilson is kind of a national treasure. If not a world treasure.
True.
Do you want to jump to Star Trek then? Since we were just talking about
we can get it out of the way real quick. We don't have to dwell on this that much, but they did finally announce Michelle Yeoh, who plays Captain Georgiou in the show.
I watched the pilot of Discovery.
Okay. They put the first hour on CBS, and then you had to go, and then you had to go to the Access to watch the second hour, which I think was a mistake, but whatever. It's done with now. Georgiou is the captain of the ship. A lot of things happen in season 1 that change her status, without spoiling anything for you or any listeners that haven't watched season 1 yet. But she's now going to be starring. She's in season 2. She's now also going to be leading a spinoff show that they're putting in development, where her character joins Section 31, which is Star Trek's version of like a Black Ops. They're like this. What's the name of the
Jack Ryanish?
Yeah, but what's the name of the CIA
Strike
group
Force?
That like you don't know exists kind of thing? Like an MI6.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, like they were they're fully disavowed.
Okay.
It's a concept that they created in the 90s during Deep Space Nine, where they it was kind of brilliant. I'm a huge fan of DS9, but they basically said like, hey, you know how the Starfleet and we're all like for peace and love and harmony. Well, we actually have a really secret organization that makes that harmony happen, and they do a lot of dirty work that we don't want to tell anyone about, because if anyone found out the crap that we're doing, they wouldn't trust Starfleet anymore. And so it was a great commentary on kind of American ideals and Western concepts over the years, where we try to pretend that we're not meddling in.
We're trying to put in like a puppet dictator in Nicaragua or something.
Precisely that. Precisely that. And they came up again in Star Trek Into Darkness as a plot point, and so now they're heavily involved in Star Trek Discovery. So Michelle Yeoh's character is going to lead a band of Section 31 agents on some like Black Ops missions, which sounds like a cool idea for spinoff.
I like Michelle Yeoh.
I love her. She's really great in the show, and I think that again, this is a show that's going to be for the hardcore fans. Because I think it's going to harken back to more of classic Trek, but in a way that's a little bit different, because Section 31 kind of took everything you knew about the happy, feel-good Star Trek and turned it on its head in the 90s, because it was a much more sinister way of looking at the world. And so I think that they will continue that, which I personally like. So, yeah.
There we go.
It's cool.
So Julie Roberts is not coming back for season 2 of Homecoming, as of right now.
This shocked me, because you watched season 1.
Yeah, you kind of need her.
I thought you kind of need her. They're writing it up like her story's over. I thought that it was just beginning.
Right?
Like, I thought that the ending felt like so much of a cliffhanger. We're still going to have Stefan James, which, fun fact, didn't know he pronounced his name Stefan until I saw the award shows last weekend. I thought it was Steven. Sorry, Steven. Stefan.
Steve and Stefan Urkel. That's been the ongoing debate for years now. So,
Stefan is the cooler one, and that makes sense because Stefan James looks pretty cool.
Cool.
So he's still going to be in it, and he's going to be a focal point. But apparently her story is done. She might show up for a guest star here.
She's going to still be a producer. But yeah, I always thought that I get it's Julie Roberts. Listen, getting Julie Roberts to do TV in general was tough.
True.
Getting Julie Roberts to come back for season 2 of a show that may not be the last season of it might be a harder sell. Like, what do I have to do with season 3 now? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of, other than like maybe they bring in another doctor and finally Catherine Keener gets on air because she did the podcast.
That would be awesome if they did that. I was more surprised because for some reason I just assumed that they shot seasons 1 and 2 back to back, and like they said, like, oh, we get Julia for 4 months and that's it. So let's just shoot all 20 episodes right now and just get it out of the way. But apparently that's not the case.
Yeah.
Apparently that's not the case. And Sam Esmail, like the Collider.com article also kind of reminds us of the tonal shift that they did from seasons 1 and 2 of Mr. Robot, where season 2 kind of focused in more on the Shadow organization. They're kind of hinting that season 2 of Homecoming might do that too.
Gotcha.
I did not like season 2 of Mr. Robot.
Did not at all.
Most people did not. So I'm hoping that they learn their lessons.
I didn't like it so much so that I love season 1 so much that season 2 soured me so much that I haven't seen an episode since.
Same here. Yeah. I didn't finish season 2.
Yeah.
I gave up on it in the middle of season, in like 8 episodes in, which I never do. I'm a completist to the end.
Yeah.
And I dropped off that show like a bad habit.
Every episode of Mr. Robot season 2 felt like I had like sort of just woken up from like an afternoon nap after having had like surgery in the morning and the drugs were still working on my brain. Yeah. Like anesthesia. And I was like, what's going on? Every single episode, I had no idea what was going on. None.
Yeah, and for me, it wasn't a good confusion where you're like, I don't know what's happening. This is so cool. It was, I don't know what's happening. I can't follow this.
Correct.
But I've heard season 3 was great, and now that we know season 4 is the last year,
we keep saying it.
I'm probably going to go back and watch season 3.
Okay.
Just so I know what's happening.
Anyway, here we go.
But sorry, Julia.
Sorry, Julia. This is also fantastic news of the week. And you came to my dad. We were like, yeah. Matthew Rhys is going to be Perry Mason in HBO's remake of Perry Mason, produced by Robert Downey Jr. in 1930s Los Angeles. Like, boom, boom, hit the drum, light the fires, kick the tires.
They're doing so much right now.
Yeah.
This is a long gestating project. This has been Robert Downey Jr.'s passion project for years.
Which is awesome.
He at one point he wanted to star in a film
as Perry Mason.
Yeah.
Did we talk about that like on Comic-Con HQ?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's been in the works in a long time. Nick Pizzolatto was going to write it with Downey Jr. as the lead. Then Pizzolatto changed his focus to True Detective season 3. Robert Downey Jr. was doing Sherlock Holmes 1 and 2. Working on the third. He's still working on the third one now.
That's what I was going to say.
So he's no longer on the project as a actor. So who do they get? Easily one of the greatest actors working today in television.
Correct.
Who has an open slot right now.
And an Emmy and a Golden Globe in his hand.
And we know he can do an American accent.
Yes.
His name is Matthew Rhys.
Yep.
And I personally, I love Perry Mason. I always laugh because my parents have one of those channels that shows all the old TV shows. And I'll be talking to my dad.
Like a TCM or something?
Yeah,
like
or
that?
Me TV, one of those places. It's like a substation of like the local news.
Okay.
And I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm watching this show, and oh, this show's on TV. He's like, yeah, that's cool. I watched 2 episodes of Perry Mason, and there's a Johnny Carson repeat from '76 on later tonight, so I'm probably gonna watch that too. And
awesome.
I'm like,
your dad and my dad should just watch TV together.
They would love it. Yeah. They would love it. And so I when I'm home or they're out here, I will watch an episode or 2 of Perry Mason. It was a great detective drama of its day. It was the case of the week, but it was a really well done mystery every week. And for this to be a limited series,
awesome.
They're setting it in Depression era LA,
awesome,
which is a great place to do it.
Which they tried to do in that show, The Last Tycoon on Amazon with Kelsey Grammer and Matthew Bomer.
Yeah,
and what's Phil Collins' daughter, Lily Collins.
Susu Studio Collins.
Yeah, correct. In the Air Tonight Collins. It's a long one. It's a long one. It's
a middle name.
They tried to do that in that show and failed pretty miserably, mostly because the entire show was just a Me Too movement. That entire show was just a Me Too movement. But this,
like, pro or anti? Like, it was an example of what not to do, or were they trying to show you that, like,
no,
it was like
what not to do?
Oh no!
But at the same time, it just made every old time studio head look like Harvey Weinstein on steroids. I mean, it was brutal.
Well, you're not wrong about that.
I know this. I know. But this is awesome. I will say this. So back in the day in Pittsburgh, I used to work out this gym called the Botatorium. Okay.
The Botatorium was your gym?
Yeah. It was in a strip mall near my house. It was the closest gym to me, and it was also like $19 a month. Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
Did it have a spray tanner in the middle of the gym?
I'm not going to say they didn't, Thad. and I'm also not going to say they didn't have a tanning bed in the locker room.
Fair.
Supposedly the guy that owned it killed his wife and got away with it.
That took a turn.
Yeah, sorry, didn't see that coming. But anyway, so there was one TV in the gym, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason, it was an old tube TV, and it was stuck on one channel. And every day I came in, I'd watch an episode of Perry Mason because it was stuck on a Perry Mason, and then I'd go into the heat of the night with.
I used to love In the Heat of the Night,
dude,
with Carol O'Connor.
Yes,
like
I got addicted to both of those shows. Where I'd come home, my mom was like, "You were really at the gym for a while." I was like, "I haven't seen this one Heat of the Night episode," and I had to watch the end.
It was
of
a two-parter.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going to go
like
on.
a 17-year-old Josh getting really excited about episodes of In the Heat of the Night.
Oh, man. So I just looked it up. So the original books, the Perry Mason books, were first published in 1933, which makes sense as to why they would set them in 32 LA.
Sure.
He wrote Perry Mason novels all the way through 73. So for 40 years.
Holy
jeez. There were Perry Mason novels that were written by Earl Stanley Gardner. Yeah. And then the TV show was in the 50s, and it was set in modern times, Los Angeles. So yeah, I love this idea. I think with a limited series, they're going to have a really cool, like,
so noirish,
like one case that's just like bogging him down the whole time.
Yeah.
Because I think he's going to start as like a PI and become a lawyer kind of thing.
She was a long-haired beauty.
Oh.
Big dark eyes. Now I'm doing a Bob Caesar song. Anyway, no, I'm psyched about this.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I'm really excited. Yeah. And I can't wait to see it.
Matthew Rhys can do no wrong. Next up, you put this in, so talk to me about it.
Yeah, so Showtime, we keep getting a lot of docu-series, music docu-series.
Awesome.
Which I love.
Defiant Ones was fantastic.
Yeah. And I think it's a great way to showcase singers and songwriters that didn't get their due or that you don't know about in years past.
Okay.
But also a great way to kind of talk about the behind the scenes of the music business. And so Showtime is now doing a behind the scenes docuseries about the career of Rick Rubin, who is the seminal music producer of our time right now. Pretty when it comes to, he is one of the top producers.
Yeah.
And his studio is called Shangri-La, and that's the working title of this project.
Awesome.
It's going to be directed and produced by Morgan Neville, who is the director of Won't You Be My Neighbor. He's not related to Aaron Neville. He's not a Neville brother. Fun fact. But
I don't know how much, but I know I love you. And that might be. Sorry. I need to know.
Fun fact, I edited a concert of Aaron Neville.
Was it Aaron Neville and Linda Ronstadt?
No, it was Aaron Neville and Daryl Hall. But Neville still can sing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Wait, didn't Aaron Neville pass away?
I hope not.
I think he actually passed away, yeah.
What?
Yeah. Aaron Neville.
No. He's still alive.
Is he?
Yeah.
Who am I thinking?
I don't know.
Luther Vandross?
Well, yes, Luther Vandross is no longer with us.
Okay.
But yeah, so Rick Rubin's produced everyone from Beastie Boys, Run DMC, Black Sabbath, Johnny Cash, Lady Gaga. I mean, the man's worked on everything.
Sure.
And so this is going to be, he was a co-founder of Def Jam Records in the 80s, and then is one of the most popular producers right now. On the Jay-Z episode of David Letterman's My Next Guest.
Yeah.
They go to Rick Rubin's studio because Jay-Z
nice.
produced 99 Problems for Jay-Z.
Okay.
He's in the video. And so they go to his studio and they talk to him a little bit. So this is a really cool idea for a show. Morgan Neville's a fantastic producer. In addition to Won't You Be My Neighbor, he did 20 Feet from Stardom, which was also about the music industry.
Yes, it's about the backup singer.
The backup singers. Yes. Yeah. And so I think this will be really cool. I assume it'll be like a 4-episode docuseries like what they did with the Defiant Ones.
Yeah.
So
what this hot pilot?
Yeah, so I didn't put this on the rundown because I didn't want you to read it ahead of time.
Okay.
So Veep is done, as we know.
Unfortunately.
Matt Walsh is hilarious on Veep.
Fantastic.
He plays the idiot press secretary.
Yeah.
He's
Fantastic.
a founding member of UCB.
Yep.
It's been around a long time. Great comedian. He's booked his next project.
Okay.
It is a single-camera family comedy for ABC from two Modern Family writers, Abraham Higginbotham and John Pollock.
Okay.
I recognized Higginbotham's name because when it pops up on Modern Family, you're like,
that's a hell of a last name.
That's a good last name.
That might have trouble fitting on a jersey.
Yeah. Higginbotham.
Yeah.
So it takes place, it's called Happy Accident.
Okay.
And the concept is he's a father of 3 adult daughters. And then there's another family that's a woman hotel lounge singer with a med student's son,
Okay.
and they're forced together after a decades-old secret is revealed. Don't know what the reveal is.
I would imagine the son is his.
The son is his, or yeah, they're all of each other's children. No idea. But it takes place in Pittsburgh.
Yes! Yes! Watching it immediately.
I thought that was the selling point for you.
Boom.
So
you wouldn't sell me with Matt Walsh because you sold me with Matt Walsh. Then you put it in Pittsburgh. Yes.
Yeah, and you know,
it was like that show Downward Dog that only got 8 episodes, but it was so funny.
I loved that show.
I know.
It was so sweet.
It was.
I've never seen it. It was the first talking animal show I've ever seen
That worked.
Yeah.
Because the dog outside of the talking head didn't talk.
Right.
He just was a dog.
Yeah.
Right?
You were just hearing his thoughts.
Yes.
And it worked.
And the voice of the dog was so funny, and it took place in Pittsburgh, which wasn't my main selling point because I was like, listen, I understand that my city is perfect and everybody knows it, but there have been some things shot there that haven't exactly been perfect. And no, I'm not talking about Striking Distance. That movie is perfect. And no, I'm not talking about Inspector Gadget because that movie's just okay. What I'm saying is that Downward Dog
the Matthew Broderick one was shot there?
Yeah.
What about the French Stewart sequel?
I don't think that was Pittsburgh.
It was probably Vancouver.
Yeah. But Downward Dog is legitimate, worth your time. If you can find it somewhere, it's got to be on like a Hulu or something. Right?
Yeah, I was just trying to look it up. I don't see it. They canceled it after 8 episodes.
Yeah.
It says it's on Google Play and Amazon Prime and stuff, but just for rental.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they haven't probably because it's only 8 episodes. A Netflix or Hulu isn't excited to pick it up at this stage because it's not enough content.
But when it was on TV,
it was fun.
If you didn't watch it, you missed something really fun.
It was a fun little show.
Yes, Matt Walsh in Pittsburgh. I love it. So this week, or maybe it was last week, Frosty Weintraub, editor-in-chief of Collider.com, interviewed Stephen Knight about a couple projects that he's been working on. One of the projects that I don't think he interviewed him about was Peaky Blinders.
Oh, right.
Because he's one of the creators of Peaky Blinders, an awesome guy. Just so happened to be one of the people that I interviewed about Pawn Sacrifice the day that I ate it in front of Tobey Maguire in one of the greatest interviews of all time.
Yes.
But he confirmed that Taboo is getting a late 2019, early 2020 start of production.
Is that the home game?
That
Taboo?
So it's basically it's a game. It's a show based on Taboo.
Yeah.
The game.
Okay.
And how it starts is each game starts with like boom, hit it.
Yeah.
And then a episode starts from
and
that.
Tom Hardy plays the buzzer.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Tom Hardy is the buzzer.
Okay.
Looks great in pink and blue.
I haven't watched Taboo. If you couldn't tell.
Yeah. It's good. Here's the problem. Let me tell you about Taboo.
I was assuming you liked it a lot because you wrote all caps grunt, grunt, grunt.
Well, that's how Tom Hardy acts the entire show.
Oh, he's like...
He's just like... I don't know what the show is about.
Doesn't speak in his Bane voice?
He doesn't, but it's close. He's just like, light the candle. Like, it's weird, man. I watched all 6 episodes of Taboo. It ended... I have no idea where it would... I have no idea what I watched. There was no plot to it, really.
Fair.
But... exclusive from Collider.com, 2019 production start, early 2020 start of the show. So we probably won't see it till like end of 2020, maybe 2021.
Fair enough.
That being said, let's talk about that Billions trailer.
Holy F. It's coming out on March 17th, and I think this is going to be the first.
Is that St. Patrick's Day?
Yes, it is.
That's what I thought.
I think this is the first St. Patrick's Day that I will make a point to stay sober enough to watch Billions.
Sober enough.
Sober enough.
Enough is the...
Enough. Like I'm not gonna go all the way up to what like an axe cap party would be.
Correct. You don't go full wags.
Do not go full. Never go full wags.
Never go full wags.
Never go full wags.
Which we see him going full wags in the trailer.
Yeah, yeah. There was a little snowdrift in the middle of that strip club.
Yep,
but
there sure was.
If you're not watching Billions, you really should
Stop all the shows that you're watching.
And
watch it.
It's one of those shows that gets completely overlooked in the ratings and the awards and all this stuff. It's a really fun show. It's a perfect show for our time in terms of the setting, but also I think the characters really resonate with the kind of mentality that we have these days in terms of capitalism and the American dream and family dynamics being super weird.
I don't know who the villain in the show is. At least of the last couple seasons.
I don't know if there is a villain, which is I really like.
Me too.
Because no one is good.
No,
but no one is truly evil.
No.
There is. I mean, you could argue that Clancy Brown's character is like the overarching bad guy.
Sure,
but it's not that he's like evil. He's just
He's a DOJ. He's a Trump. I mean,
he's an analog for a Trump appointee,
Right.
and so ideologically he's against the Chuck's character. But
Right.
the trailer for season 4, I mean,
Bonkers.
we saw the teaser, and the teaser was cool, but the stuff that's going on in this trailer is nuts.
Awesome.
Is just absolutely insane, and the guest stars. So
Malkovich back as the Russian.
Malkovich,
oligarch.
I love when Malkovich puts on a Russian accent.
He's Teddy KGB.
Yeah,
He's Teddy KGB.
which I'm all for.
100%.
I hope that they tie this in to Rounders somehow.
Yeah. There has to be a poker scene this season, right? I mean, there's got to be.
There's got to be. But also, I caught like a glimpse of him. Kevin Pollak is a guest star this season. I caught like one shot. I was like, is that Kevin Pollak? So he's in there. And also, I noticed Nina Arianda, who is Ms. Pilbagian on Goliath. The super earnest,
the lawyer,
legal assistant person.
I love her.
She's great on that show.
Yeah,
she's guest starring on in season 4. So I think we're gonna get a lot more of her. She's a Tony-winning actress.
I did not know this.
Because Billions Films in New York, a lot of the actors come from Broadway.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize her background was so heavily in theater.
Yeah.
So that was cool to see. And yeah, they've got a lot of people coming in. Obviously, Clancy Brown's back. John Malkovich is back. The whole cast. I mean, the war they're setting up between Chuck and Bobby and now Taylor is just awesome.
Awesome.
I can't wait. And again, can't encourage you enough to watch Billions.
Yeah.
I will say that season 1 is a slow burn to get through.
Yeah.
Because you can tell they don't know what they want to go with. Like they're trying to do some stuff that's like super sexy scenes and stuff, like the Showtime stuff where you're like, is this really the show? I don't know if this, and then by season 2 they kind of put that aside.
Yeah.
There are still themes within the family dynamics as the marriage dynamics that we know about, but they're not like trying to titillate you in a way that Showtime was kind of like really heavy-handed doing the first couple episodes, I thought.
Yeah.
And they move away from that.
100%.
Which I liked.
Yeah. This is your story. I don't know what this one is.
So you know Peter Sarsgaard,
Yeah,
though.
of course I know Peter Sarsgaard.
Sarsgaard.
That's a great sketch.
Not a Skarsgård.
No, not a Skarsgård. Peter Sarsgaard.
He's a Sarsgaard.
From the most overrated indie of all time, Garden State.
Yeah.
When that came out, everybody was like,
It is everything. This is my life.
A greatest movie ever.
Have you heard the soundtrack?
The Shins are the greatest band to ever grace this cinema.
I do really like the Shins.
I do
to be
too.
fair.
But the amount of it's sort of like that Weezer sketch on SNL, right?
Okay.
Like if you didn't like Garden State when Garden State came out, you were a social pariah.
Fair.
Right.
Well, I think I was a freshman in college when that came out,
Makes sense.
and so I had a lot of Jersey classmates who were all in on Garden State. They're like, this was my life.
Yo.
This is me. And yeah, it was a lot. But Sarsgaard's awesome. He was great in that season of The Killing. As the guy on Death Row.
Fantastic.
I haven't watched Looming Tower yet, but apparently he was in Looming Tower.
Great in Looming Tower.
And so he's in this new show for CBS All Access called Interrogation. It's created by a Swedish writer-producer, but it's not based on a Swedish show like so many of these cop dramas are. Like so many of our like crime shows are based on like Polish, Swedish, Israeli formats, and then brought over to the States, which is really bizarre. But anyways, this is an original concept. It's based on a true story, a 30-year case where a man was charged and convicted of a brutal murder of his mother. Each episode is structured around one of the interrogations that happened over the course of that 30 years. And they're going to air it kind of non-linearly. So you can watch the first 9 episodes in any order and then watch the season finale to find out how the case kind of like lands up. Soderbergh tried this with a show on HBO, Mosaic, I think is what it was called. Was it called Mosaic?
Yes, maybe.
So.
Hold on, let me look. Because I remember trying to watch that.
It was a non-linear format, and there was an app where you could like kind of bandersnatch it a little bit and like decide which path to go down. But this is just going to be like you can watch all 9 episodes, pick and choose whichever order you want to go with, and then when you watch the season finale, it'll tie up the whole case. But I guess the way you watch it will
Mosaic, you were correct.
It'll kind of infer like as you try to solve the case, it'll kind of like change your perception of where to go.
Like a 12 Angry Men-ish kind of a situation.
Yeah. So I like it, and he's going to play the detective.
Soderbergh. Listen, if there are a lot of actors out there that can play detectives, that's fine. But Sarsgaard looks like a detective.
He looks like he's been working the beat for a long time.
A long time. Here's some. I just clicked on Steven Soderbergh to see the name of that show, and guess what movie he's executive producing? Bill and Ted Face the Music.
No way. Actually, I think I did.
You know that?
I think I read that on Collider.com, to be honest with you, when they broke one of the Bill and Ted stories.
That's incredible.
They just released a trailer today, I think, for his first Netflix film under his Netflix deal.
Oh, nice.
But I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, this sounds cool. I like Sarsgaard. I like this true crime concept. So it's interesting enough.
Yeah, I like it. What's next there?
Well, there's a lot of business news that we can just briefly touch on. We talked about this
zip it?
earlier. So Bob Costas, we said he was probably leaving. Mm-hmm. He's officially out, and he's been with NBC for 40 years.
Sunday Night Football.
He's still at MLB Network.
Right. He's such a baseball nut.
Yeah, he really is.
I mean, like every time he comes on Dan
and dies.
Patrick, he just talks about baseball nonstop.
Yeah. And he's now saying that he's trying to develop a new interview show that is somewhat like his old late night interview show Later that he used to do.
I didn't mind that.
It was a good one-on-one interview show. So I think if he does, if he can, like, if he goes to HBO or Showtime or a digital platform like an Amazon or something, and it's like Bob Costas Tonight, and it's a weekly interview show where he talks to sports figures and pop culture icons, and like just a one-on-one chat with Bob Costas, I'm all for it because he's an awesome interviewer. He is totally knowledgeable, and he's got some really, really great insight into not just the sports world, but how the sports world reflects on the world at large.
And he's been around for so damn long that his stories are just awesome. I would honestly love remember how MTV or VH1 used to do storytellers? Like, just give me a Bob Costas storytelling show. I mean, it could honestly be just give me like an interstitial in between a Real Sports on HBO or something.
Sure.
And just give me 15 minutes of Bob Costas of like slow tracking shots, like it well lit, him smoking a pipe or something of just Bob Costas telling sports stories. I would watch that.
Remember when he used to come on Conan all the time?
All the time.
Late night. And very funny, very entertaining. Speaking of which, Conan's new format debuts on Tuesday night.
Next week.
Yeah. I set it up to DVR. I'm looking forward to it. I watched Fallon's Puerto Rico
thing. I haven't watched much of it.
It was interesting. I didn't know what it was going to be. He took a page out of Conan Without Borders. The whole thing was a field piece.
Oh, nice.
No audience. It wasn't a standard show. He went around the island and did location shoots with different people, and then interviewed Lin-Manuel He interviewed him on the set. Yeah. Like sitting at the Hamilton desk, but without an audience. So the two of them, and it's one of those things where it reminds you, like, everyone's like, oh, Fallon's so fake, like he's always playing it up. Like, they're just having a genuine conversation, and he's just as giddy and like that's just him.
Yeah,
like that's just his personality.
Yeah.
And so it was good. It was fun. It was a big ad for Puerto Rico tourism, which I'm all for. And they raised a lot of money and put a lot of stuff out there. So it was worth a watch.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about Megyn Kelly.
She's getting everything. She's getting her whole exit package. Now apparently now CBS just announced that Les Moonves is going to fight for his $120 million.
Awesome.
They're going to fight him back, thankfully. But
Billy Bush is back?
Yeah.
Where?
He's going to Extra. Extra.
Really?
Yeah, he's in talks to come back to Extra, which is moving to Fox.
Okay.
I think because NBC is going to focus solely on Access Hollywood, so they're getting rid of the Extra property.
Got it.
But apparently
is Mario Lopez still going to be on Extra?
I mean, I assume so.
Okay.
I assume so. Mark Paul Gosselaar was on this week to promote his new show, The Passage, which I haven't watched yet. It's on my DVR.
Yeah.
I've heard it's okay.
Okay.
It's a vampire-y show, I know, but
here I got schooled by The Strain, and I swear to myself I'd never watch another vampire show.
Fair.
I invested way too much in that show to get legitimately nothing. So
fair enough.
Yeah. Extreme Makeover Home Edition, HGTV.
Did you ever watch Extreme Makeover Home Edition?
I saw one episode.
Okay, I used to watch it a lot.
Okay,
when growing up, it was one of those family shows.
It's a powerful show.
It's a very powerful show. I actually worked with some people who worked on it, and they confirmed that like the show is real. And they were telling me like the amount of sod that they would just like truck into these locations because they had to make it look, after 7 days, they have to make the house look like it's finished.
Yes.
And so they would just the whole yard would just get dumped into it on like day 6 because they're like, we got to make this dirt look like something presentable.
Yeah.
But they're moving it to HDTV. I kind of wish they would change the name.
Yeah.
Because if most people will forget, there was a show called Extreme Makeover.
And that was just for people's faces.
That was a
life makeover.
It was
basically.
a life makeover, like people that had like cleft palates or like burn victims and stuff, and they would give them like facial reconstructive surgery and like or extreme weight loss bands and make them pretty or happy or whatever. And so then they spun this off and they called it Extreme Makeover Home Edition.
So it went from like changing people's lives to just changing their homes.
Yes. And then it was a huge show. It was on for 9 years.
I mean, I remember always seeing trailers for it. I'm sure my mom loved it.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, they pick like the most worthy family, and then the whole neighborhood chips in and they help out, and all the home builders in the area like donate their time and money and stuff. But it's just an awful name.
Speaking of moms, my mom is going to be really upset that Criminal Minds is ending next year.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. But what's interesting about it, so it's ending next year. They're in the middle of the 14th season. Mm-hmm. They have given the producers a 10-episode 15th season.
Okay.
The 14th season was already short. I think that was 13. I stopped watching it years and years ago. Mm-hmm. I watched the first couple seasons.
Is Criminal Minds on Ice-T?
No, that's SVU.
SVU. Got
it. Criminal Minds started with Mandy Patinkin before he did Homeland.
Okay.
And then he quit, and then Joe Mantegna came in. And Thomas Gibson was there before he got fired. And
Mantegna, classic.
Aisha Tyler's on the show now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's directing a bunch of episodes.
Nice.
Yeah. Good. But they're giving them a 10-episode final season, and they just said, like, just keep shooting. So they're working on the season finale for 14. And now, like, they're going to take a couple weeks off and go right into shooting the last 10 while all the actors are still there.
Economies of scale.
Yeah. And they're like, all right, we're going to give them another 10 more episodes. They can wrap up stories. The producer said that they're going to be a little bit more serialized because they know there's an end game. But
love it.
We were talking about The Rain earlier. Apparently, season 14's finale is supposed to be shooting this week, and it's supposed to be a wedding with between a couple characters, and they can't shoot outside. Like, they were gonna have this like big outdoor wedding scene
in Malibu or something.
And can't do that today.
Oh man!
So I think it's got moved into the church.
That's amazing.
Or they're actually, what I would really appreciate if they did a raining wedding. You don't see enough wet day, rainy day weddings on television.
Funny story about rainy weddings, right? So Amanda and I got married outside, just like you and your Amanda did, right?
Yeah.
And
I was
about
there.
5 months, which your anniversary was yesterday, correct?
Yes, 3 years.
Yeah, there you go. Happy anniversary,
Thank
buddy.
you. Thanks.
I remember I was marrying you.
Yeah.
About 4 months out, 5 months out, Amanda wakes up in the middle of the night. Not wakes up. She wakes me up in the middle of the night. And she goes, the almanac says it might rain on our wedding day. We need to get a tent. And I was like, babe, just roll over and go back to sleep. I was like, it's 5 months away. The almanac does not know 5 months from now if it might rain. I could literally write every page of an almanac and predict what weather could be. Nobody's going to hold me accountable for any of that. It didn't rain on our wedding day.
It didn't rain. It was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Same thing. We had a beautiful day for our wedding.
You sure did.
But on January 16th, 2015, it poured, and that was not good.
Yeah.
And then the week prior to our wedding, like 2 weeks prior to our wedding, it was wet and raining, and it was a lot of conversations of like, what if we have to move inside? I know they have a rain clause, but like they can figure it out. It'll be inside, but it won't be as fun. And I'm like, it's gonna be fine.
It'll be fine.
It's gonna be fine.
Totally fine.
And it was. And it was totally fine. It was beautiful the whole week.
Yep. It just so happens to rain when you need to produce a wedding, not actually get married.
Correct.
So if you guys go up on the channel right now, Dorian and John Roca and Haley Fouch did a review of Punisher, the first 5 episodes?
So they did, a couple things. So
like 3 videos.
Yeah. So the last week they put up a non-spoiler review of the whole season because they watched everything. So you can go listen to their thoughts on the whole season, non-spoiler, before the show is out today, January 18th. Yep. It's out now. So you can go watch season 3. I know I will be doing that over the long weekend. then they also recorded a spoiler review of the premiere episode and of the finale episode.
Got it.
More than likely the series finale, because let's be honest,
That's gonna get canceled.
it's going to get canceled. But so they did 2 spoiler reviews for what their thoughts were at the beginning of the show and how they thought if they stuck the landing at the end.
Got it.
So
3 videos, nice.
So you can go listen to those 2 spoiler reviews. We'll put them up either later today or over the weekend.
Got it.
And then I think on Monday we'll have. Hopefully on Monday we'll have
a full spoiler review up.
I'm not sure. I don't know if we'll do. I don't know if they'll do a spoiler review of the whole series.
Okay.
They kind of did that in the finale. So if you want a spoiler review that wraps up the whole series, listen to the finale one.
Okay.
But you should also listen to the premiere one because it's kind of like their initial thoughts.
Right.
So if you've watched a couple episodes and then take a pause in your binging, listen to that, and then once you finish the show, you can listen to the full show review. And then I am going to be leading a review of the Star Trek Discovery premiere, season 2, episode 1. Hopefully, put that out on Monday or the very beginning of next week.
Awesome. That's fantastic. And right now, when we come back, we're going to do quick reviews of a bunch of shows that what we've watched over the past week, because there's been a bunch out there.
There's been a ton.
But right now, and I can't recommend this show highly enough. There's a show called Wayne. It's out right now on YouTube. It's a YouTube original on YouTube Premium. I got to interview Mark McKenna and Ciara Bravo, who are the stars of Wayne. It's a coming of age tale about 2 kids from Boston who go on a road trip, and it's a very heartfelt, well done story. It's very, very well done. I got to interview him, and here's that interview right now. Enjoy. What's up, Collider TV Talk fans? Josh Macuga here for a special interview with Ciara Bravo and Mark McKenna. They star in the YouTube Premium series, a YouTube original. It's out right now. It's called Wayne. I will say, when I first saw the trailer, I thought, I don't know if this one is going to be for me. And after the first episode, I was sold. It was one of those pilots that ends so perfectly that it leads perfectly into a binge of a show. Yeah. So congrats on Wayne. It's something. Listen, if there wasn't streaming services today, this show wouldn't be on TV.
No way.
And I think that's a beautiful thing about the current climate that we're in television and in movies, that we get stuff like this. So what was the process like for you guys, just overall? And we'll get into some specifics. Mark, we'll start with you.
It was pretty amazing for me. I mean, I've only ever worked on one major project before this, so it was kind of, it was a very good second project anyway for me, because everyone on the set was so nice, and you hear a lot of things like producers are terrifying and they fire people, but all the producers on Wayne.
That's a pretty good finger wag.
Yeah, nice strong finger wag there.
That's acting right there. But the producers on Wayne, they were amazing. I mean, the crew was amazing. The cast were mediocre at best. But, it was a very, very. I think it was a very good project to be the first project that I was the lead in anyway, which is quite cool for me. That it's such a nice experience, because I just hear horror stories about everyone hating each other. And
you say horror stories, and Wayne has a little bit of a horror element to it.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a lot of violence in there.
There's a lot of violence. You, Ciara, play... I mean, you're a demure person when you first meet you know what I mean? But you are this badass Boston girl, and I've met a few badass Boston girls, and you play it perfectly.
Thank you so much.
What was it like? Were you watching a lot of Gone Baby Gones? Were you watching some...
The classics. Classics. Yeah, of course. Sean Simmons, our show creator, gave us a couple of movies. He's like, watch these.
What were they?
Watch these and understand. Gone Baby Gone was one of them. What else did he send us?
I think the Town as well.
That was
Town.
it. Yeah, that was the other.
Little Blake Lively in the Town.
Oh,
Totally see that.
He loves Blake Lively in the Town. He's like, she nails
You do?
it.
Or
No, Sean Simmons. Sean Simmons.
I mean, I thought she was fantastic.
She's not bad.
As long as we're doling out compliments.
Right. Might as well give it to Blake Lively. So for you getting into that Boston girl kind of role, was the accent the hardest part? Was being this badass the hardest part, or was there?
It's 100% the accent through and through, because it's especially in Boston, it differs so much neighborhood to neighborhood. So getting it Brockton specific is really difficult, especially without getting too hokey, which it's hard to do when you're not even close to being anywhere from there. But we had Sean Simmons on set, who's from Brockton, so he would set us straight if we went too far astray. And then we had a dialect coach for the first couple of weeks who sort of like set the groundwork.
Yeah.
And that was extremely helpful because it is not easy at all.
And the Boston people are very, very protective of their accent. Do you know
I respect
what I mean?
that, as they should be.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I hope that they don't beat us up later.
Just gonna
Sorry,
hold us
guys.
down.
I'm sorry.
What I don't want to spoil things about the show, but some of those more violent scenes, because they paint you out to be this kind of crazy person, this psychopath, but you're like the nicest psychopath you'll ever see on a TV screen.
I think towards the end of the show, you're saying you've seen the first 5.
You've seen the first 5, yeah.
Towards the end of the show, like the last 3 episodes are quite, like you see more of like an emotional side to Wayne.
Okay.
Like he's not like just this guy who's going to go out and beat everyone up
Right.
and all that kind of stuff. You kind of see that like he had other intentions for what he's doing, and they all kind of start to unfold a bit.
It's like the more you watch it, the more you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this is why they are the way they are.
Yeah.
Understand.
The funeral episode was the one that kind of got me, and and then the heart place here, because I love a good road trip movie, right? And we'll take a page from your book, Drive It Like You Stole It. You stole it, you steal the microphone, the motorcycle, right? And you can, like that East Coast trip down to Florida. I've done it from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I've driven that way down to Florida. There are places in parts of this country that you can stop in and be totally anonymous, and it's a really cool, like, especially you're in that town and you see that pawn shop and all that kind of a stuff. What was it like shooting those location to location? What was like a pretty awesome dynamic from those?
Well, the whole thing was shot in Toronto, which was like
probably
the most impressive part in terms of the location team and stuff like that. I mean, they made it look like everywhere. Especially, I was most impressed with Florida because like.
How do you make Toronto look like Florida?
Right.
How do you make
Turns out
anything
just,
that isn't Florida look like Florida? Like
You buy a bunch of tropical plants.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was really impressive. They did an amazing job.
yeah.
Where in your heart when you're waking up to do this and you were getting into character, where in your heart do these characters lie? Like where were you finding the heart in that?
I mean, in the midst of shooting the project, I feel like the character, at least Dell, was my heart. Like, I was so wrapped up in this show. I felt like I was in a dream. I was just having the most fun I have ever had. It was like connecting so deeply to these people, which is an experience I haven't really had on set because I've always been so young when I'm working on projects. And now I'm like an adult age where it's like, I can be friends with you guys. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah, sure.
But Dell was just like, I really became so deeply in love with her and her chaotic tendencies. It was just, I don't know, man. She took over my life.
And for you, you are a crazy violent guy. What were some of those violent scenes like for you, trying to find some heart while also being a maniac a little bit?
It was kind of weird because it's not like Wayne's not the kind of guy who just like flips out and starts like throwing fists at everybody. He like
calculated,
strategically thinks about what he's doing. Yeah, so it was kind of fun to just kind of think about like that John Wick, Dirty Harry, kind of like elements of almost like fight scenes from like Sherlock, where he's like, oh, now he's gonna throw this.
Right.
But it was kind of cool to do that kind of stuff and think about how maybe a teenager would go about that, because usually these things are taken down where it's like he's the ultra spy and he knows exactly how, but Wayne's just like a teenage boy who's just kind of like, I'll fight you.
There was always the one kid in every grade that was sort of like Wayne, right?
Yeah.
In at least where I went to school.
We all have one.
We all have a Wayne, right?
But it was actually Ciara in her school.
I could tell, yeah. Delth can throw.
Yeah,
Delth can throw down.
Yeah.
There was always that one guy, and I think that there was something. Like, I'll text my buddies from high school, right? And we'll still throw out that name of that one guy. Like, what do you think he's doing right now?
Yeah.
And then you, like, go down a Facebook wormhole and kind of feel like, what do you think Wayne at, like, 32 would be doing?
I like to think that he knows how to interact with humans normally now. And he's not such a socially awkward person. I like to believe that Wayne maybe just kind of grew up and got some sort of job that just helps people. And... Maybe
Wayne's
I don't know,
an
maybe,
accountant.
Yeah, Maybe.
does
I was
people's
thinking more
taxes.
like a policeman or something. but
Total flip.
you know,
I like the CPA. That's where you're going
those
with that.
vigilante accountants that you see
No,
on the
he's getting
street.
them.
You
It's
know?
like, oh yeah, back in the day.
Yeah. What going off of this? What are some, like, I guess maybe dream projects you guys have in the future? Like, what are some goals that you guys have? You're so young. You're on top of the world.
Yeah, I mean, I love all those kind of very dark, serious indie movies that everyone seems to love nowadays. So I just have to kind of get in line for that kind of stuff, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Ciara?
I'm a big fan of dark comedy still, and I would like to learn how to master the art of the comedy part of that dark comedy, because that's not really my strong suit. So I would love to do more of that. And basically just like anything that Aubrey Plaza's been in, I want to also do that.
A big Aubrey Plaza fan.
I'm a huge
I
Aubrey
love
Plaza
that.
fan. Yeah, she's super cool, super weird. I dig it.
Did you ever see, I think it's called Super Team. It's her first, it's like with Derek Comedy.
No, I have to watch that.
Yeah, she plays like the love interest of this weird group of like private eyes investigators. You would love it too. It's a very weird comedy. It's Donald Glover is one of the stars of it. So obviously like Donald Glover kind of exploded from that. But it was their college sketch team made a movie.
Oh, that's so cool.
Derek Comedy is the name of the sketch team.
They made like a lot of videos. Didn't
Yeah,
they? I've seen some of their videos.
Yeah, like the girl that's Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Why is her name?
Oh, I know.
It's escaping my mind.
I just know it's
Ellie
Kimmy
Kemper.
Schmidt.
Thank you. Yeah.
She was in some of their videos, and Aubrey Plaza was in some of their videos, and then they did this movie that is really funny. Super Mystery Team. That's what it's called. It came to me. You guys would check that out. I think you both would really like a weird comedy like that.
Yeah.
For
I know
sure.
what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah, there you go. Let's do some rapid fire questions. What do you guys think?
Cool.
Let's do it.
All right, so we'll just go on like a arbitrary timeline here, but if you don't want to answer it, you can say pass.
Okay.
All right, but they're not like intrusive questions. So.
Okay.
All right, are you guys ready?
Yes.
When you go on an airplane, you turn your phone on airplane mode.
Yes.
Yes.
It stresses me out.
Dr. Dre or Snoop Dogg?
Oh, probably Dr. Dre.
I don't know, man.
You're stuck in a cave and have to cut off your arm like James Franco. Do you do it?
Well, if the only other option is die, then yes. Yeah, I probably would.
Yeah, I probably would too, but I'd cry the whole time.
Greg or Craig?
Oh.
Greg.
I'm going to say Greg because one of the producers' name is Greg.
Boxing or UFC?
Boxing.
Brockton Brawler. Do you guys learn about the Brockton Brawler? Do you know who the Brockton Brawler is?
This guy?
I don't think.
That's Wayne. He's a classic old boxer. Yeah. I'll just leave you at Brockton Brawler.
Yeah, we'll talk to Sean about it later.
Corn or flour tortillas?
Oh, corn.
Oh, I don't corn because that's what Ciara said. So
Alligators or crocodiles?
Neither.
crocodile.
That's cool.
You were in Florida? I mean, you know.
Yeah, no, I can't.
Dirty Dancing or Footloose?
I can't remember what
Dirty
either of
Dancing.
those movies.
Dirty
are
Dancing.
like.
Nobody puts baby in a
maybe
corner.
they didn't.
I'm going to say.
Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze.
No,
Had the time of my
I
life.
know what the movie is. I can't remember
okay.
watching it. I'm going to say Footloose because of the song Footloose. So.
Well
Oh,
done,
that's fun.
Well done. If your best friend married your ex-wife, would you go to the wedding?
No, man.
Yes, I would get very drunk. I'd get very violent.
This is a
And
good
ruin their
Wayne answer.
moment,
This
yeah.
is a good Wayne answer. I like it.
And then I'd be the mature adult in the room and
And
just
I'm so happy for you.
yeah, I'd make the speech wild, drunk, and violent.
I like that. I like
And
it.
then
I can see it.
and then I'd just like cry and be like, why wasn't I good enough?
See, I'd probably like drink it home and like accidentally send a message on Facebook
But-
later, like,
The twist is like
It's
when
way
I'm asking,
sloppier.
when I'm
Way
asking
sloppier.
why wasn't I good enough, I'm actually talking to my best friend, and I don't care about my ex-wife anymore.
yeah.
It's
It's a real
it's a real
switcheroo.
thing.
I like
I
that.
think there's a movie coming to me right here.
Just created it. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Oh man, that's so tricky. Dogs, yeah.
Would you go to Burning Man?
No.
No, God,
Thank
no.
you. Yeah. Are DJs just people who are good at iTunes?
Yes.
I used to think that, and then you get into music production, then you realize they are insanely talented when
Okay.
it comes to computer stuff,
I'm like,
music.
you stick up for DJs.
I mean, this is very necessary. I feel very
This is
attacked.
good. I feel very attacked. Michael Jackson or Prince?
Prince.
Prince, yeah. No, even.
McDonald's or Wendy's?
Michael Prince. Sorry, I
McDonald's.
didn't even hear
McDonald's or Wendy's?
that. I've never had Wendy's, so McDonald's.
You never had Wendy's?
No.
Is it a thing in Dublin?
No.
Sierra? Get
We gotta
into
go to Wendy's. We'll get the
Frosty.
Frosty, thank you. Frosty,
Gonna
and we'll
go
dip our
on
French
there.
fries
Ooh,
in it.
Do you like how I knew that you were going like this?
Yeah.
I
Mark
like
was in
Frosty.
LA. What did you do, Mark? I ate some Wendy's and some some McDonald's and I compared them.
Big City Bright Lights, baby.
Somebody asked me a question, so I figured I'd better do my research. Do you know how to tie a bow tie?
Yeah.
No.
Do you?
I do. It's not very well done,
But you can do it.
but it's
I
tied.
used to get the little like
Clip-ons.
Clip-ons.
Yeah, that's the smart way to do it. Do you make your bed every day?
No.
I tried for a little bit. It didn't happen for me.
Come on.
I mean, I'm
guys.
just gonna get back into it. You're
gonna get back into making your bed?
No. I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna make it, and then the day ends, and I'm gonna get back into
But
the
it's
bed.
nice when you do because it's like it tricks your
crisp.
mind. It tricks your mind into thinking that you have clean sheets.
Fresh bed.
It's like
It's that crisp
It's ready for
freshness.
you, you know?
Yeah. It's like why they make your bed in a hotel, because isn't it nice to like pull down and
You're
just
peeling
get
back
into
the
a-
covers.
so you go back to your room and your bed's like, come to me.
yeah.
And I go back to my
Get
room,
in
my
here.
bed's like,
Yeah.
kill me.
Biggest celebrity crush.
Oh,
Okay.
there's a lot of
Rami
celebrities.
Malek.
Rami Malek.
Rami Malek, really?
Bohemian Rhapsody is killing it.
There's a
Yeah.
lot. That's
5.
there's so
4,
many people. There's so
3.
Oh
Ryan
my
Gosling.
God.
We'll just give you Blake Lively in
Ryan
the town.
Gosling.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could say Blake Lively because there's like a weird connection through the show, and it's like one of the producers
I
knows
think like Rhett's
Ryan,
gonna
and I
like
think Ryan's
message
gonna
Ryan Reynolds and be like,
Ryan's
I think
gonna
it's
"Dear
hysterical.
Ryan."
Ryan Reynolds, who I've never met. I'm just name dropping Ryan Reynolds. I've
So
never
me and Ryan
ever
were in
met him.
Brockton. It's pretty awesome.
Me and Ryan, we both know Ryan. And we were just talking one day, and it was weird. But Rita Ora is the first person who's coming to my head.
Rita
here.
Ora.
Yeah,
I met her.
I mean,
She's pretty
oh,
awesome.
really?
Oh, yeah?
She's pretty great. Do you wash your hands after the bathroom every time?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Smart.
People who
Smart.
don't should be in jail.
Well, I think
And
it depends
mean
like which bathroom
I
you're
mean
using.
it.
If it's your home bathroom, I'm not going to throw you in jail.
Right.
But like,
I mean,
If there's people over and you're serving food, wash your hands.
wash your hands.
I mean,
if you're just
I think
alone-
if
Also,
you're
it's
doing
like
anything,
it's not that hard.
It's really not. Even just a quick rinse.
Yeah, just like
just like
water.
just no soap, just a bit of water. You know, you mightn't wash your hands, but psychologically you've washed your hands.
That's
so.
true.
and no one's going to know.
Yeah. It's only a lie if you think it is. That's a George Costanza line. That's Seinfeld classic. Okay, final. Let's do like 3 more. Pancake or waffle?
Pancake.
I used to think waffle, and then like they're not fluffy enough. Everyone's like, oh, waffle, and then it's just like
It's rapid fire, Mark.
Like, it's a
Pancake or
It's really
waffle.
good. It's like, well, Ryan Reynolds
French-
and I were eating waffles.
French
this one time,
toast.
and French toast. There it is. Tater tots or French fries?
Tater
French
tots.
fries,
Fish or chicken?
chicken.
Chicken.
Chicken or steak?
Chicken.
Oh, yeah, about the same.
And finally,
In my opinion.
have you ever been kicked out of a bar?
No. I've been bounced because someone else, someone I was with has been bounced.
Oh.
Does
My
that count?
friend, yeah.
Okay,
sort
cool.
of, maybe.
Then no, I haven't.
Okay.
Once my friend was kicked out of a bar, and then I tried to. I thought he was being kicked out for no reason, so I went out to get him back. Because they were like, oh, he's doing this. And I was like, no, he's not. And then I went back and I went after him, and he was like, no, I did do that. And I was like, oh, well, then let's go home. Let's go.
Way to defend the wrong guy.
Yeah.
But there you go. All right, guys. Wayne is on YouTube right now. Ciara Bravo, Mark McKenna, thank you so much for being here with us at Collider TV Talk. Subscribe to the channel, do all the fun stuff. Follow you guys on social media. You can throw out your social media handles.
Yeah.
Instagram at Ciara Bravo.
Yeah, I mean, all of mine are Mark McKenna.
Mark McKenna. Weirdly enough, my next door neighbor for my entire life, his name was Mark McKenna. He's
No
a lawyer
way.
in Pittsburgh.
I
Wow.
know.
The
I've
better
gotta-
Mark
I've gotta-
McKenna. He's in
okay.
Pittsburgh.
I have to fight somebody over my name. I'm gonna call him out on Twitter today.
Love it. Just take him down. It's awesome. Thank you guys again for being here. Hope you had fun.
Thanks for
We'll
Thanks
see
for
you
having
guys.
us.
Special thanks to Mark McKenna and Ciara Bravo for coming on. Again, Wayne is on YouTube right now, and I love it. It is fantastic. All right, let's talk about. Let's do these real quick because we're up against it.
Let's do letter grades and like a 1-line review.
Sure. True Detective first 2 episodes, A-, little slow.
I would give you an A- as well. I like the mystery. It's very reminiscent of the real life. It's the real life case of the West Memphis 3.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Friends from College, A+.
Really?
A+. It was better in season 1.
I have to go watch it. I never watched season 1, as you know. But I'm glad that you liked it. I'll check it out.
Hysterical and so real.
Yeah.
It's a very real show. It really is. Sex Education. Dude, I'm only 2.5 episodes in.
Okay.
But it's an A for me.
I'm 4 episodes in, halfway through season 1.
Okay.
Season 1, total A. It is awesome. It's funny.
Yeah.
It is really raunchy in the best possible way, and
Young Margot Robbie is great.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
Asia Butterfield's awesome as the kid.
Asa,
excuse me. Gillian Anderson's awesome. Gillian Anderson is
She's
awesome.
the best.
And I will say that unlike an In-Betweeners, which is also raunchy
Yeah.
and a similar concept, this show has so much heart.
Yeah,
and so much so much you feel for all of the characters, all of these teenagers, and they're all archetypical characters, but they're just so entertaining.
Yeah, me too. I love it.
I'm loving the show.
Hey, Future Man. I'm 3 episodes into season 2. The show is so weirdly hysterical. I'm very confused sometimes, but it doesn't really matter because it's 30 minutes and it's insanity. It really is. So Surviving R. Kelly, real quick. I watched 2 episodes of it last night. I cannot watch anymore. It is absolutely sickening.
Yeah.
I mean, for what they did, but this is disgusting.
Yeah, it's
The fact that man is not in jail is absolutely absurd.
I mean, it sounds like it's only a matter of time now. Like the cops are going to lock him up. It's awful that it's awful that it took a documentary series to shine light on this.
Yep.
And there's a lot of implications about believing people and racial relations and everything else on top of that. But it's freaking terrible. I really wanted to get through the whole thing because I know Rachel Cushing edited some of the show, and I wanted to support her and all the people that put their time and money into giving light to the show. But it's so hard. It's so hard to watch.
Make me sick. Yes.
I think it will be easier to watch once something happens. Once he's behind bars.
Agreed. This Is Us, the mid-season premiere.
I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked it. I liked
that there was a bit of a happy ending to it.
Yeah,
finally.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked the happy ending. I liked the storytelling device of the way that they bookended the show.
Yes.
I was a little disappointed that we didn't go into the future again.
Yep.
After the cliffhangers from the mid-season finale, but I know we're gonna get there.
Yep.
So,
I mean, we sort of got a little bit of a cliffhanger at the end.
Yeah,
with the uncle.
No, I meant continuing the future
Randall,
story
yes,
with Randall but I know we're gonna get pieces of that throughout the season.
And also, I'm sorry, but if one of my prized possessions was Star Wars toys, my wife would know about it day 2 of our relationship. These are mine. This is something I'm very passionate about, and she would know when we were getting rid of things that these are things you don't sell.
Right.
That's one thing about that storyline. It was adorable. It was nice. The Three Rivers Stadium was great.
The Three Rivers thing was cool.
Awesome. Really cool. But that's the Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's all right. Dirty John finale. I loved it. I loved this whole miniseries. Connie Britton played because I listened to the podcast, played what this woman I thought was. This is an A. Juno Temple and Julia Garner from Ozark. Fantastic. Total A for me.
Awesome. Yeah. My wife started it without me, and so I haven't gotten back into it.
I think you'd like it.
Yeah, I've caught like half an episode here and there.
In typical Bravo content,
I need to go through all of
it's
them.
30 minutes of TV over an hour, so if you DVR it, you can just fast through it, and you got a 30-minute show.
It's only an hour an episode?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm totally going to watch that.
Easy. Yeah. Brooklyn Nine-Nine premiere on NBC. Just kept it going. A.
Yeah, they did everything they were needed to do. The line that got me was, "Hey, this B needs an A and her C."
Yeah.
Just floored me. I tried to recreate that line to my wife with the bleeping to do the voices, and it didn't translate as well as I thought it would.
Almost like that time you tried to pronounce Antonio Jaramillo.
Jaramillo.
You got it.
Oh yeah. No, it sounded funnier in my head, but. It's a really funny. It was a really good show. I'm glad it's back on NBC.
Me too.
And people are seeing it, which is great.
Way to save it. All right, that's it for us here on a Collider TV Talk. Thank you guys so much for listening, for watching, all that kind of stuff. I'm Josh Macuga at Josh Macuga. That's Thadd Williams at Thadd Williams. We have all kinds of stuff out there on the channel right now. So subscribe to the Collider Podcast. Subscribe to the podcast feed here. Share it. Do whatever it is. If you love TV and you want people to hear about other people talking about TV, this is your podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, put down the book, pick up the phone.